Rodgers, she's a legend.
So here's how the story went.
In this first Music Journeys episode, I present you 3-time Grammy Award winner, the man responsible for hits such as Good Times, He's the Greatest Dancer, We Are Family, Let's Dance, Like a Virgin, Get Lucky.
You've been described as being one of the most influential producers in history of popular music.
I'm not sure I've changed that much. The industry has changed a lot, and I've just tried to stay consistent.
Nile Rodgers!
Thank you.
Nile was born on September 19th, 1952. Nile's mother went by the name Beverly. At the young age of 13, gave birth to Nile and raised Nile with her partner Bobby. Bobby was a white Jewish male. In 1952, interracial couples weren't exactly common. Beverly and Bobby were heavy drug users, and at a young age, Nile had to learn how to be independent. Nile had a real understanding of himself. He went to school, he was bullied, he was called names about his parents, but that never fazed him. He had a real strong character from his very, very early years. Something that plays a huge part throughout the whole of his career. Nile grew up in New York, and his parents, Beverly and Bobby, were moving around all the time, from New York to Chinatown, the Lower East, the Bronx. Beverly and Bobby were constantly fighting. Beverly was going back from one boyfriend to another boyfriend. Now, Nile's biological father, he did have a relationship with him, but it was a very thin relationship. It wasn't a very close relationship. There was a story about being left at the altar when he wanted to marry Beverly, turned to drugs, alcohol, and never could rise up with the fact that she never loved him. She never wanted to marry him. She liked him, she wanted to have his child, but never wanted to be married to him. After being left at the altar, he became really bitter. Nile's father was so bitter about the fact he was left at the altar, always blamed his mother for that, never realising what was the problem. So Nile, he was raised around smoking, a smoke-filled room, around drugs, watching people do heroin. He come from one of the most difficult backgrounds there are. Nile as a child was drawn to many different things. He was a Cub Scout, he played the Japanese game Go. Nile always had this gravitation towards music. There was just something about his brain that just lit up when he listened to music, listening to some of the artists, especially from his parents, Nancy Wilson and Billie Holiday. As a student, Nile had a very different approach to school. On one of his first report cards, Nile's teacher said, "Nile is a bright student, but he doesn't pay attention." Nile always believed that he was born to be a musician. His biological father was a percussionist during the 1940s. Even though Nile didn't spend much time with his father, but the time that he did spend with his father taught him how to read music. He would teach him how to read drum patterns, the quaver notes, the whole notes, the 16th rhythm patterns. It was actually reading these rhythm parts that helped Nile when he started to learn the trumpet at the young age of 13. Now, like a lot of musicians, Nile wanted to play the guitar so he can attract girls. After moving to the South Bronx, he met a drummer, and he had a sister wanting to impress the girl that he really liked. He turned up to an audition, but he didn't really know how to play the guitar. He made an absolute fool of himself. So he lied in this audition to say that he could play the guitar, but he really didn't. After being humiliated, Nile became very determined to learn the guitar, and for Christmas he begged Beverly for a guitar. When he got the guitar, he went looking for books, and he came across a book on the Beatles. Once he had this Beatles book, he was playing the guitar every day. He was playing guitar, practicing every day. He found his purpose in life, and music became a drug to Nile. It was in 1970 that Nile had his first experience with playing with a band called New World Rising. So he started making friends and networking with other musicians. He started to build up a reputation and gigging at least 4 nights a week. And this was Nile's first experience within the business side of music. Every gig was Woodstock, every girl was a model, and every paycheck was a fortune. And Nile was improving his ability on the guitar. He was studying jazz, he was depping on gigs. He knew how to see opportunities and connect those dots together. Nile auditioned for the Sesame Street Band, got the gig, and this changed his life. So now he has the ability to support himself full time just by playing the guitar, just by reading a sheet of music, entertaining people. This is what Nile really wanted to do. Nile met what would become one of the most influential duos in musical history on a Friday night at a lounge live music bar in the Bronx. When he started playing with Bernard, there was telepathic language between each other. They could read what each other were about to do. They could anticipate where they wanted to push the music. Nile was playing in a band with the great New York Silly, who were touring off their hit, I'm Doing Fine Now. Nile and Bernard were working with each other for 3 years before they wanted to start taking things to the next level. They wanted to push for new opportunities in music.
I called Bernard and said, man, I just saw some shit you won't believe. Because at that time there was a movement in New York called the Buppy movement, the Black Urban Professional Movement, and there were supermodels and everybody was beautiful. So we started putting the band together, and the first person we hired was Tony Thompson, and then the second guy we hired was this guy named Rob Sabino. Rob Sabino's best friend was a dude named Ace Frehley, and Ace Frehley was in a band called Kiss, and they were doing all this dress-up stuff too. So they didn't have a record deal, we didn't have a record deal. They were getting dressed up in their way, we were getting dressed up in our way, and all of a sudden the Roxy, Kiss, Chic thing came together.
Now, to get the Chic sound that Bernard wanted, Bernard taught Nile a 16th note pattern. So this is a style of 16th note playing when you're actually only ever playing 3 notes. It's more of a percussive sound. Even though Dance 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 was their first release, actually the first song they ever wrote was Everybody Dance. Once Dance 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 was released, it was a smash hit.
Chic as a band, what we accomplished was in just 2 short years. 2 short years. I mean, between 1977 and 1979. We're just talking about one little band doing, Jesus Christ, I Want Your Love, He's the Greatest Dancer, Dance, 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 We Are Family, Good Time, just because we never stop working. We just make records every day.
A very known cliche in the music industry were musicians addicted to drugs. Nile was addicted to taking drugs. He was addicted to sniffing glue, drinking alcohol. And this was a big downward spiral for Nile. A huge, huge problem for him. Nile, on a daily basis, would drink alcohol. He had to drink alcohol. Drugs and alcohol were always present. Actually, a great story about the riff that came together for Freak Out.
Playing down, 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 and then I started singing, down, 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 ah, fuck off, do 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 do, fuck Studio 54, F off, do 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 do, F Studio 54.
After, a little bit of song or lyric editing, the song went on to becoming Chic's biggest selling hit, selling 12 million units worldwide. And from there, Chic went on a run. They had hits like I Want Your Love, Chic Sheer, My Forbidden Lover, and My Feet Keep Dancing. The hits were coming out and out and out. And Bernard and Nile were having a lot of success with Chic. And one day, called into a studio, they were asked what ideas they had with a band named Sister Sledge.
We were born and raised in Philadelphia, and it was a really cool community that we grew up in because everybody sort of looked after everybody.
The record label told Nile and Bernard that these girls are like family to us. They're great to the record label. We don't want to get rid of them.
In the studio with Nile and Bernard was quite an experience. It was a very big challenge. First of all, they are so talented, and I call them geniuses. I do believe that. I believe they were just multi-talented.
And at the time, Nile and Bernard wanted to test their abilities. They want to see how far they can take this idea that they've done with Chic, having two girls out the front, and now they could use this same method, this same technique, this same songwriting style with a couple of sisters, and they were known as Sister Sledge.
No, it was really a song that depicted who we were.
And just like Chic, Sister Sledge was selling millions of records. They had hits, Here's the Greatest Dancer, We Are Family, Thinking of You. The hits were coming and coming. Nile and Bernard were unstoppable. At the time, disco was unstoppable.
Disco sucks! Disco sucks!
My Sharona was released in 1979 and it became a smash hit. And one night at a Chicago stadium, a DJ prank who wanted revenge after being fired from his local station for playing rock instead of disco morphed the movement. Disco sucks.
Disco sucks! Disco sucks!
Disco Sucks campaign gathered momentum and the knack had arrived, and they had arrived to save rock and roll. So for disco, for Bernard and Nile, their careers came to a crashing end. And it was 30 months since the release of Dance Dance Dance, their career came to a stop. The whole industry was changing. The 80s have arrived. Bernard and Nile needed some new direction. Chic was dead now. Chic had finished. They had to do something different. They had to see what was next. They had to develop. They had to grow.